Hi, Tim Span here, developer advocate at StreamNative. Today I'm going to show you how to use the REST API to interact with StreamNative Cloud. Uh, I wrapped this in Python, but you could use any REST library you want, including curl. So we're going to do a couple of things. Now I've got an account already, as you should already as well. If not, please sign up now. So we've got our StreamNative Cloud. I'm logged in, got all my security set. I've got an account here, service account. I'm going to generate a new token, grab that token, and I'm going to use that to interact with REST securely. So you generate your token, you get it, you're set to go. Make sure you have a topic that you want to produce data into. So I just created a topic called stocks, and it's ready to go. Once you have one created, you could start building your applications. I have all the source code here in GitHub. This is based on my existing stocks application, so it's pretty easy to use, and you've probably seen it already. But this is just show you how to do it. So let's look through the code real quick, and you can use whatever ID you want. First thing I'm going to do is build a schema. Now you could build schema in a lot of different types. It could be just a simple string one. It could be JSON, Avro, protobuf. I've got a JSON one. Now I did this a little easy. Instead of handwriting all this JSON, I built an app with using the Pulsar Python library, sent one message up with my specific schema, and then I could pull it down using StreamNative's REST API to get the schema and then put it in here. But if you want to do it by hand, it's pretty easy. It's just type record. It's a very standard thing. So I create our headers, which has that bearer token we copied. We set our content type of application JSON, get our data ready. That's our schema. We're going to need the requests. You got to import that. A couple others I always import, but you probably don't need it. So I'm going to make a request post. This is a post one to whatever the URL is. For me, it's SSL. It will be for you as well in StreamNative Cloud. Whatever your instance is, wherever it is. And the rest is for everybody, admin, your schemas. Now mine's under public and default for the tenant and namespace and the stocks topic. And we need to add schema to say, hey, we're going to work with schemas. We're using this header, we're using this data, and then we run it. And then when we're done running this, pretty easy, we go take a look and we can investigate the schema. And if it's worked, you'll see it here, and you can see the schema definition. And it's pretty straightforward for this one. We don't have too many things in here. Pretty easy in JSON. We only have one version. If you want to change it, you'll have another. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've looked at REST. Do that one first. Use REST to get your schema in. We're very happy there. Once we've done that, then the next step is we're going to start producing some records. That's, the most common. So again, we're using that requests and the bearer token. This one's going to be binary for the content type application octet stream, because we got to send it up as a binary message. And coming back, any messages we're going to get back from REST will be in JSON, so we'll accept that header. Now, the rest of this code is just grabbing data with WebSockets from that stock API. That's in that standard app I wrote. What I'm doing a little different here is I'm just going to put it in a dictionary. So I've got the name and value pairs there with the type I want. The type and the names that match that schema I already uploaded. So I'm going to do the requests again. This again is a post. Going to look familiar. The URL is slightly different. Take a look at it. This version 1. Get persistent, all those things before. Message sends, I'm sending a message. Send those headers. And we're going to make sure that our data is in the JSON format. And then we'll get a response back. If the response is empty, something went wrong. Might get an exception. If we don't get anything wrong, it's going to give us our results back. So let's run that one so we can see what's going on here. Use Python 3. Use the latest one you can tolerate. I'm using 3.11. Newer is better. Okay, so we're going to run this. They connect to our web sockets and it's streaming data in. So you can see here, we're showing a little display of what that data is. I'm just showing the stock symbol and the price and the response we got back, 200. Okay, it made it there. Now, if we want to make sure that it went in there, we can go up to StreamNative Cloud and we could take a look at the messages and we can see we got a ton of message IDs here. We could look through them all, see what time they were sent, all that kind of fun stuff. I've sent a lot of messages as I've just left that running. When you leave it running, it sends a lot pretty quick. You'd also go to the overview here and you could start seeing how much data there is and look under storage. You can see how many entries are recent, all that kind of fun stuff. You can see here where there's 100 messages I haven't read yet. That is the nature of these things. So we can send data. Perfect. Well, I want to be able to get it back. Well, something unique to Pulsar, again, use that REST request header there. That's the library we use. We're going to put that authorization again. And here I want to create a subscription so that I can get data. So again, that URL we had before, this version 2, same persistent public default stocks topic. I'm going to do a subscription. I'm going to name it. I could just give it a static name, but since I'm running this a lot and doing it in different places, I just create an ID based on the time. You can use a random number, maybe iterate something. I don't know, just to make it easy. I don't have to send any data. Response is going to be funky, but that's fine. So we can run that. I already have a subscription built, but let's just run another one. And this is going to be stock subscribe. And 204 is good. That's our subscription number. Now, if we go back to the cloud here, let's go check the console. I might have to refresh. I've been leaving this sit here for a while. You want a fresh screen when you're doing this. And you can see here the number we picked here, 2901, just created that for me. And this is just waiting here. There's no messages in there. And we could just use the one we want. So we've got a subscription. Once I have a subscription, I could start consuming messages, which is pretty important. You want to be able to read these messages. So again, requests and any other libraries you might need. We set those headers, this time accept and content type, both app JSON. And we pass that bearer token, looking to look familiar again. Post, we're getting this REST for this specific subscription and the message. And if it's not null, we're going to look at the content of that in JSON. Look at the headers because this gives me the message ID. Because what I want to do next, which is important for Pulsar, is I want to acknowledge I read the message. So my subscription can move along. So if I need to do anything, I can. If that subscription is just waiting out there, it's going to wait out there forever. So I do a put. That's important. This is put and not post because I'm doing a changing the data here. I am putting up an acknowledgement for this particular message that's coming in on a header that I got it. Boom, we're done. So let's run that in a different window so I can read messages in one and post them in the other. Now, obviously, you saw that backlog. There was a bunch of them sitting out there. So it's got a lot to catch up to. And now if I'm running it again, even more. But this is going to catch up while it's going through all these subscriptions. Now, if we looked at our code here, we're looking at subscription 737 here. And we see that going down. And that will go through the subscription. We could peek at this one and see where we are. But if we look down here, we're moving down slowly and we'll be out of messages pretty quickly because we're not sending any new ones. And this is just going through an iteration. Now you could have this consume this, display it in a web app, use it for machine learning. I could run this same code from a Jupyter notebook, from Apache NiFi, from any bit of code in any language. Everyone talks REST, very easy. I'm just doing it in Python because it's easy. And I already had some code out there. I wanted to see how easy it would be to switch it. it's pretty easy. So we're just consuming. Not much more to do there. Pretty straightforward. Because we did the consuming and the acknowledgement. We didn't do the acknowledgement. We'd be starting all over again when we ran it. So this is great to acknowledge it. I'll just leave this running because why not? You know, not paying per message here. Not like some places. So we look at the overview. We could see things are happening. We're getting down. The backlog is almost gone. This viewer is the one subscription I use on this page just to browse them. As you can see, sent a bunch of messages there. So, we're catching up. And eventually this guy's going to run out of messages because only put so many in there. But we can see all the different trade conditions, all the data coming in, and the response of our acknowledgement that I got this message and I acted for that particular message ID. Now, this is the binary message ID. This is a weird string. It's not clean and human readable. If we look down in the consumer, oh, did we run out? I think we ran out there. Let me send a couple more so we could see that. Connected to the WebSockets, we're ready to go. Let's go back in there. If you take a look here, let me stop this and we'll never catch up. This is the human readable version of the message ID, a lot cleaner, easy for you to understand, but we encode it for binary for other uses, and that's the one we send. We don't send this human readable one. We send the other one. That's pretty much it. It's pretty easy to do this. Produce, consume, set a schema, subscribe, all that. Couple of easy REST commands. Obviously, use the library in the language of your choice. I'm Tim Span. Hope you found this informative, and I hope you start using the REST API. It is pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Makes coding about as easy as can be. Thanks.